Hey, everybody. So in 2 days, we have this solar eclipse coming up. I posted on Facebook a picture of me with those cheesy glasses on from 2017 and just remembering what it was like to watch the sky get dark. And I know there are people who are flocking to Texas or New England or wherever to see this one. Um, Regardless of whether you're doing that, the eclipse is having such a an impact on each of us. I was just feeling into the energy a couple of days ago, and it felt so um, wobbly. Like it feels like something important is happening. We can't see what it is just yet. It feels like we're coming out of this primordial goo and turning into something new. And it's this evolutionary leap that we get to do during eclipse season. And this one is especially exciting because in Aries, it really is about identity for so many people right now, regardless of what your placement is. So wherever you have Aries, and it doesn't have to be, your sun or your moon, but wherever you have it, there's this activation of, it's like a new part of you popping into being. And so I think that's really exciting. Aries has this fire energy and this not filtering what you want and just really knowing it from the gut. And there's this it reminds me that we're each born into this world with this unique um like a soul print. It's like we just eat just like our fingerprints. And then we spend so many years in life with people who love us, with people who don't love us, with people who don't like us, with, complete strangers, trying to put their thumbprint, will this open the computer of you? Is this going to open you is this going to activate you? It's like we spend all of this time being molded. Often in the past, I would say it's like we are filled with stuffing, like little dolls, and the world just fills us up with what we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to be, and it's all about pleasing the social sphere. Well, Sun in Aries, and when the North Node is in Aries, which it is, there is a moment of destiny here that has to do with your very unique imprint, soul print. That's just what I'm wanting to say right now. That has literally nothing to do with all of the stuffing you have stuffed yourself full of, or other people have wanted you to be this or that. And instead, you're like, no, this is like, I'm going to be me. And so the energy that you have been feeling through the past, coming up to this eclipse, we've been feeling these changes, feeling antsy, feeling something's right at the precipice, that we're at the precipice of change. And it has to do with this ignition that's happening with the solar eclipse. It's just, activating. It's like turning on a gene inside of yourself. It's turning on something new, something that you came here to be and to give. And depending on where you have Aries in your chart, if you are a cardinal sign in the, around 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 degrees, you will be feeling this. If you're Capricorn, Cancer, uh, um, um, oh gosh, Libra or Aries, you will be feeling this somewhere more perhaps than if you are full of just fixed energies, etc. Regardless, you will be feeling it wherever Aries is in your chart. Yeah. I also want to talk about that at the time of this eclipse, as you have this like renewal or God, the word restoration is the word that's really been coming to me lately. So it's a restoration of the creative impulse inside of you, the individuated self in you, that unique soul print of you, all of that is being activated. At the same time, we have Mars coming together with Saturn. Saturn slows things down. Mars wants to speed things up. These are in Pisces. And what's interesting about this, so if you think about this as a destiny moment, like a moment where you're starting to have experiences, thoughts, ideas, revelations, people coming into your life that are reminding you of why you were born, destiny. At the same time, right next door, this is how we see it, that the Aries sector is here and Pisces is right next door. The two don't relate very well. The semi-sextile energy is kind of weird. And so it's almost like having to having two totally different rooms in your house or two side-by-side neighbors in an apartment building that have nothing in common. And you really have to kind of be in a different part of yourself to feel that energy. So the Mars and the Saturn are in Pisces around 14 degrees. Mars is like wants to move forward, and especially in the realm of feeling activation, because that's Pisces. And it's also art, poetry, music. It's also the area of spirituality and the places where we are transcendent and begin to learn how to forgive things that have been bothering us. And Saturn, though, wants us to do whatever we're acting on correctly. So it slows the process down. So, like if I'm just looking at this eclipse chart as if it were a person, it's like there's all this stuff being stirred up and this excitement about this originality and this creativity and this you-ness that came into the world to be just exactly what you are, that nobody else can prescribe to you. And then next door in the other room is this like, it could be a frustration energy. It could be really having to work through issues that have to do with Pisces, your Pisces sphere, that have to do with what I just mentioned, emotions, places where we self-sacrifice to detriment, overgiving, core boundaries, wanting to escape. All of those things are going on in the Pisces sector at the same time that this fire is being ignited. Let me think. I have this instinct that in this video, I just want to talk about these three things that are happening around the eclipse and let you draw your own conclusions rather than telling you what I think you should do, because you're sovereign and you have your own ideas. So I just wanted to point out these configurations and see what you want to do with the information. I'm trying to stop myself from too much advising here. The third interesting thing that's happening with this eclipse is Chiron. The eclipse is conjunct Chiron. Um, Chiron mythologically was a great healer. He was centaur, and basically he was tasked with teaching, with guiding, and he was an amazing healer. And so, but he also suffered continuously with a pain that he could never heal. Each of us has Chiron somewhere in our chart. In the Aries, right now, the transit is in Aries. So that's where we all have Chiron transiting. And so anytime the sun and the moon are coming together, the sun and the tiny little moon somehow are so exact that the moon is oddly able to block out the rays of the sun and darken the skies. It's such an ignition. It's a planting. It's an injection. It's the very beginning of something. It's conception, really. And so with Chiron, I wanted to just say a few things about healing. I have spent a great deal of my life on self-healing, on healing with clients who then are learning how to heal the things that come up for them on a daily basis and not have to have a Band-Aid put on or um, give away the power that we have inside of ourselves to recognize when the energy's off. Oh, I got to step back. Okay, let me make an adjustment. That's a healing, guys. That's just, that's one way that we heal is using our innate intelligence and intuition and awareness to make adjustments that are then more growthful and expansive for our lives. That's one way to see healing is just, it's a form of change. You just change. And, we're always metamorphizing. We're always changing from one thing to the next. And it's when we get stuck that we begin to atrophy and not experience our true complete potential, which is the endless continual growth process that's so exciting. Um, so Chiron is considered the wounded healer. Wherever we have Chiron in our charts, we feel that there's something wrong with us, like something crippled, something that doesn't function the way we think it functions for somebody else. Like, oh, that part of me it just is broken. And it's also the place where we are really adept at helping others be healed. So wherever you have Chiron natally in your chart, it's just this little, this, it's a gift. It's annoying too, because around age 50, we experience our Chiron return and we feel our world, we feel the wounding so much. We feel so much brokenness. We're like, why am I looking at this again? And it's a really important transit that brings us into the rest of our lives where we finally begin to see what we thought was wounded in us as a healing and a gift. But regardless of what age you are, as you're watching this or having this activation with Chiron and the sun and the moon, um, it is going to bring up likely, I would suspect, anything around it's going to bring up sensitivities in yourself, in people around you. I always like to say that eclipses aren't just happening to us, they're happening to everybody around us. And so it's great to just have a little compassion for yourself and for others at this time. You know, this Mars-Saturn conjunction, first of all, is also an activation because anytime something comes together like that, it's going to activate something. And Mars is for a couple of years. So there's a place where we are learning through repetitive effort. My parents used to refer to this as like, put in the elbow grease. So you put in the time, Saturn is time, and it's effort, meaning it's not easy. You have to do it again. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. And if it's in the house where you have Pisces, that work that you're doing will allow this activation to come alive. And the one thing I could say about the conjunction with Chiron is that you may suddenly realize that something that has felt like it didn't really work in the area, in your Aries area, so whatever house that is, which is just a field of living, it's an area of experience in your life, suddenly you may be like, oh, I get it now. I actually have a gift in this area. I think this is all I want to say because there's so many other people saying things and, we don't have to cover it all. You don't have to be Um, it's just about paying attention to the energy as you come into Monday around noon in Mountain Time anyway. And so just start to, you know, feel what is a little sensitive. What broken areas are you noticing that are starting to feel healed? And one of the things with an eclipse is there's nothing you really have to do. It's already underway. This is really like it's like a message in a bottle from the soul. It's like like the part of you that's like, oh, well, I've got a handle on this big picture of what I'm doing down here on Earth. And so I'm going to ping myself once in a while and give myself a little message. Hey, are you on track? What do you need to be more of who you really are? And Aries is that authentic infant, world, hear me roar. So wherever you are needing this activation and the support for this like creative part of yourself, the part that is the soul of you that nobody can imitate ever, that's what's happening. So I hope this was helpful. Um, I wanted to keep it simple. Life is never simple, but it is exciting. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to know how the eclipse is treating you. Let me know your insights and your ahas. Thanks for watching.